Good morning, guys. It is a chilly morning out here, but I think it's the last chilly morning of the season. Hi, I'm Rachel. Welcome back to Auxhart Gardening. This week we are officially 2 days past our 50% chance last frost date. So theoretically, we should be in the safe to plant frost tender things. However, this is just an estimate, and it definitely pays to wait a little bit, keep an eye on the forecast before you go planting out anything that would be frost tender when you are right there at your last frost date. I actually like to wait a little bit just to be sure, especially because last year I didn't get my garden in until the end of May, and everything still had plenty of time to grow. So I'm in no rush to plant things early and potentially have there be problems later down the line. Our lows for tonight and tomorrow night are only 39, which is not a frost, but it is below 40, which is kind of the minimum that I would want to put tomatoes out at. They would be fine if it got to 39 or 38, but I think it would be better for them if I didn't put them out until it was consistently above 40 degrees at night. So the first thing you might notice on this row is the deer fence. There's also one back there, and it's got these little pie pans strung along a hay string. And while this is by no means a fence to keep deer out in terms of jumping, the idea with the strings is that they can't really see them very well. And so they will be walking towards the garden and kind of run into something they can't see, make a loud noise, and it will hopefully scare them off. So if we go ahead and look at the fava beans, and honestly the onions in here by the fava beans are growing up nice and big and strong. And the fava beans have had little beans on them, which are quickly becoming large beans. There's one. I'll take you down to another plant over there where we have some big ones. This fava bean plant down here has the largest pods in the garden right now. These are getting very close to pickable. They are coming up, I don't know, I would say 5 inches long. You want to wait until they're 6 to 8 inches long, and then you want to wait until they start kind of bubbling out a little bit. These are still pretty straight pods, but once they start bubbling out a little bit, you'll know that they're ready to pick. If we come back to the start of this row again and look at the right side, I am trying really hard to suppress the weeds right here next to the sidewalk. We'll see how that goes. I don't have quite enough cardboard yet, and there's still some weeds poking out, and I should probably get some more mulch to put on top of that. Spinach plant is looking great. I actually did not expect it to have such pointy leaves, but both of them have it. So I guess that's the variety I planted. I have completely forgotten. Something that I've noticed that is really quite annoying is this weed popping up everywhere. And if you look at the seed hull there, that might look really familiar. I'm pretty sure these came in with my straw, which I was hoping would have not that many seeds compared to hay. But here we are. These are now all over my garden. Since this is my first time using straw mulch, I'm not really sure if that's unusual or not. If I just got a seedy batch, or if straw always has that much seeds. I haven't shown you guys the kohlrabi in a couple of weeks, but this is actually bulbing up under there. I don't know if y'all can tell, which is surprising me very much. I really thought that I had planted it too late for it to bulb up. But it seems that it has. So I guess I'll be harvesting that soon and having an actual good meal from it. This one is smaller still, but at least one of them is getting close to the size that I would expect. Here you can kind of see all those little grasses coming up all along where I put the mulch. So if we move on to this next row with the garlic and the onions, I guess with the camera it's kind of hard to see where it is in the shade, but everything at the front here is pretty representative of what it looks like as you go farther down. My one cabbage is continuing to look absolutely gorgeous and very, very slowly growing. little baby head on it. Garlic, as always, looks impeccably healthy. And my onions are now starting to look pretty strong. If we count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th leaf coming up, barely baby there in the middle. So that's really good. In this area, I harvest my garlic and onions in about like June or July-ish. So they've still got a ways to go. If we walk down here to take a peek at this little section of lettuce, these are looking great. I've been pulling from this for salads very consistently, and I'm at the point where I have too much currently harvestable lettuce for a single salad, which is pretty exciting. That means I could have salad like multiple days in a row if I wanted to, and I would have the lettuce to support a really big, nice salad. A little ways down from the lettuce here, I had popped some what I think were turnips in here. They are actually bulbing up, much to my surprise, and they're purple, which I can't remember if I planted a purple turnip or not, or if these are actually rutabagas. I actually have no idea. And this is why you label things, folks. This is why. I mean, it's either a rutabaga or a turnip. So I can wait and see if it gets any bigger, and that will maybe let me know. And either way, I can pick it and cook it the same. But yeah, don't know. So moving on to the arch row, we got quite a bit of rain yesterday, actually. If you look at it, it's almost 3 inches, which is a lot for us to get at one time. It was kind of over the course of a whole day. It wasn't torrential in like an hour or anything. We've got my giant, beautiful kale plant here, making big leaves. I now harvest like one of these leaves is almost too much for a mixed salad, so that's pretty fun. And my peas are still looking absolutely wonderful, climbing up the trellis. I'm so amazed that they actually recovered. Do you remember how sad they looked? Right over here, these radishes. Again, I had planted a second row of radishes because I thought the first row had been killed in the frost, the very sudden frost that we had after warm weather. And I actually yesterday pulled some really big icicle radishes. You can see here's one that I haven't pulled. They grew up and they bulbed up just fine. Here's another one right in there. So yeah, and they're all growing pretty well right next to each other as well, so that's pretty good. Look at just how much the turnips have exploded since last week. I swear there's twice as many flowers now. And some of these early flowers have made pods, and these are going to start to kind of fatten up as they fill with seeds. They're not going to get a whole lot bigger than they are right now, but I'm pretty sure these are edible if you wanted to pick them off and eat them. I'm going to leave them because I don't really have a need to be eating them, and they're kind of skinny for what they are. So if I was going to wait and pull pods off of something, it would be a radish, and you'll see those later in the season, but they make really thick pods that it actually makes sense to take the time to eat them, I guess. Something else really fun in this little area, besides Cada, is the potatoes that I planted are coming up. These are purple fingerling seed potatoes, and additionally there's another row here in the middle of golden potatoes, and those have not come up yet, but these ones had little growths coming off of their eyes, and the golden potatoes didn't quite have as much as these, so definitely expected those to come up first. Both of these potato varieties that I'm planting are determinate potatoes. So similar to how there's indeterminate and determinate tomatoes, it's the same with potatoes. Some of them will grow about a certain amount of potatoes and then they'll be done, and there's nothing you can do to really increase that production. But with indeterminates, if you've seen the methods where you can keep mounding dirt up around your potato to allow it to make more and more tubers, that's the indeterminate variety. And so since both of these are determinate, I have planted them as deep as they need to be and then kind of kept them at soil level, whereas some other people might dig deeper trenches to put their potatoes in so that they have the room to build up the dirt around them as they get bigger. As I was just talking to y'all, I glanced down and I saw my beets are actually showing signs of bulbing up a little bit. They've been looking really healthy for a while and not doing any of that. So that's actually really exciting and surprising. So in this last row over here, we have more garlic and Brussels sprouts that have gone to seed. These are also making little pods, and I actually have no idea how big these pods are going to get compared to the turnip ones or the radish ones. But I assume they will also be edible the way that turnip ones and radish ones are. These are just looking really, really pretty. I love the splash of yellow all along the row in the garden. These Merlot lettuces over here, I don't talk about them as much, but they are also producing really nicely. They're a little bit smaller, but just absolutely beautiful. Look at that color. Before we leave this side of the garden, I wanted to check in on these straw bales that I inoculated with mushrooms. And if you look in there, you can kind of see little white fuzzes right in there. You see that white fuzz? That is the mycelium kind of growing into the straw there. And that is what we want to see. We see the white mycelium and nothing else growing on these. Anything else growing would kind of be a red flag that something had gone wrong. I'm not entirely sure how long it's supposed to be until these fruit, but the internet has told me anywhere between 4 to 8-ish weeks, so we've still got a little bit of ways to go. I also want to stop in on this thyme real quick that I have here and show you the teeny tiny little flowers that it's putting on. That is so pretty. Oh, hello, Kata. Also, this crimson clover over here is really exploding. And ever since this started flowering, and I knew what it was, I just started seeing it everywhere along the sides of the road around here. So I guess it's really common, but I still think it's really pretty. Lastly, a quick check-in with the raised bed. I actually trimmed up the cilantro and the parsley pretty good yesterday. I pulled almost all the cilantro that I wanted to save for the winter and left the big stalks because I want to harvest coriander seeds from the flowers. Look at how well this oregano has popped back. It almost died completely back during that really sudden freeze that we had, and you almost can't even tell now except the fact that it would be even bigger if that hadn't happened. Draco being a cutie pie. Hey baby. Alright, quick peek indoors so we can look at the seedlings. So here is my current setup of seedlings. It's getting pretty full. Things need to start going outside. And I've had to add 2 extra lights here because I could not fit everything on the shelves. My eggplant has really surprised me with how large it's gotten. Like, I knew that I was trying to get it bigger before I planted it out, but some of them have taken the assignment and gone a little overboard. These are my backup tomatoes. The first ones that I planted, for some reason, all look like this. And I just don't know why, because everything else I'm growing is lush and happy. So I feel like it's not the environment that I'm providing that is an issue. I don't know. Lots of nice peppers here. I planted some flower starts. These are cosmos, marigolds, zinnias, and these rows are some seeds I got from my grandparents that were probably a little old, so I'm not super surprised that only one of them sprouted. And then back over here are my newest seedlings. These are mostly a bunch of different kinds of basil. Some fenugreek and whatchamacallit, papalo, which is sort of a cilantro substitute. I don't know if I've shown you guys this before, but I got a Venus flytrap just from Walmart. Did you guys know that these are native to the Carolinas on the coast? I had no idea. I thought this was some exotic tropical plant. Alrighty guys, that's all from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be right here with another garden tour next Wednesday, and hopefully some more cool stuff in between there. But until next time, I wish you all happy gardening.